out. Gotta get him away from that bank. Took right off of those branches. All right. Now we got some room to play him. Oh, got a whole bunch of rocks and trees over there. Beautiful. Beautiful fish. Oh, that's funny. Some documentation of what we did down here.
Hello and welcome to Fly Fisherman. Today I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania. It's early spring and I'm about to do some trout fishing. Spring is all about fish movement. And key to success this time of year is finding where the fish are going to be at specific times. This time of year, fish change location by the week, by the day, or even the hour, all depending on the weather. Cold weather moves in, fish revert back to their winter holdings. Nice weather, beautiful sunny day like we have today, fish are going to move into feeding lanes where they have abundant food source. Today we're out here in early spring. It's the second day of April. It's been a little colder the past week or so, but the warm weather is starting to kick in. Today we have a 65-degree day, beautiful sky, no clouds, it's warm, and the fish are going to feel those effects. Fish are going to start to move around. They're going to find these fish, they're going to find their lanes, they're going to find some shallower water where their food source is abundant. What we hope to show you today is how fish are going to move when the weather changes in the spring. We're going to show you what to catch them on and how to catch them, so stay tuned. The first thing we have to do when we get to the trout stream is observe. Look around for bug activity on the banks or in the trees. Look at the water itself for any sign of activity from the fish. And then we inspect the surface more closely for actual insects floating down. Then inspect under the water. Pick up a rock, or several if need be, and search what aquatic insects are found in the stream. From the looks of this rock, we have some good food source for these fish. The larger insects here are stoneflies, a large part of a trout's diet in the spring. The smaller crawlers are mayfly nymphs. These become larger as the weather warms and eventually become a trout's main food source in late spring and early summer. And last but not least are caddises. Though good at hiding, these aquatic worms are a constant food source for trout throughout the entire year. Now that we've seen the options this particular stream offers to the trout, it's now time to take a closer look at the spot we intend to fish. And from the looks of it, it seems like we have a number of fish feeding on the surface of the water. It's time to get in the water and check it out. And it doesn't take long before we find the culprit of the fish activity. We can see here blue winged olives on the surface of the water. These are what those mayfly nymphs will become once they reach their adult stage. Now that we know what the fish are eating, let's take a look at the equipment I've chosen for today's fishing. I've chosen to use an 8.5 4-weight mid-flex rod, a standard for a mid-sized trout stream, like the one we're fishing today. I've matched the rod with a large arbor reel in the appropriate size, spooled it with 4-weight floating line. And the fly we've chosen to tie on is an imitation of that blue winged olive we saw floating on the surface. But before we make our first cast, let's talk about why we've chosen the spot we've chosen. With the option of so much water to fish, how do you pick the right spot? But like I said before, there's some rules to follow and use as guidelines. Take this spot for example, a classic fish producing stretch of water with a long portion of fast water leading into a slower moving, deep pool with a shallow tail out at the end. The fish will generally hold in the faster ripples in the summer, the deeper pool in the winter, and the shallow tail out where they can effectively feed during the spring and the fall. Taking a look at the spot we've chosen, we can see a similar layout. Fast, moving water leading into a deeper pool with a shallower section at the end. And by the look of things, the fish are right where they should be. So let's get in the water and give it a shot. When approaching a spot through the water, always try to approach from behind. This way, your disturbance on the water has less of an effect on the fish. Get set up where you feel comfortable to make an accurate cast and give a short practice test, just to get your distance down. Then, start working towards the fish, remembering to aim your cast well above where the fish are, giving the fly the ability to float by naturally. And I know it's hard, but when you see a fish splash in front of you, try to control your excitement. Because if you don't, this is what happens. And this. And that leads to this. And this. And then finally, this. That's no fun. So try to remember, stay under control, and when a fish strikes, a gentle lift of the rod is all that's needed. And once the fish is on, keep the rod high. Get the line back on the reel for easier handling. And once landed, get the fish back in the water as soon as possible so he can be caught again. But sometimes, even when you do everything right, the outcome isn't ideal. But that's all part of the allure of fly fishing. Sometimes the fish just win. And some days you win with a trophy like this.
that's going to just about wrap up this week's episode. Remember, fishing in early spring, fish are going to move. Don't get stuck fishing your favorite spot or the spot that you caught a fish in before. He might not be there. Remember, if it gets cold, fish like you did in the winter. If it starts to get warm, fish like you're going to do in the summer. Try to find the fish, find rising fish, try to find the bugs that are coming off, and that's how you're going to catch them. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.